Well, I'm back from the okra jungle and gonna get ready to make some pickled okra, and I thought I'd show you guys how I make it. So gotta get a couple other things set up and then we'll get started. Okay, I've got my water bath kettle just preheating. I don't have enough lemon juice to make a full canner full, and mine holds 7 quarts, and so I just have those 2 jars there filled with water just to take up the space so that the jars won't jiggle together and crack. So let me show you what I've got here. Alright, everything fixed so you can see what I'm doing here. Alright, I have these 4 quarts pretty much ready. Everything's in it. And this one I'm going to show you. Now, I've never used the onion in it before, but I'm going to try. I just took an onion about that size and cut it in 5 pieces and chopped it up in large chunks. And the garlic, you can see that's probably maybe a tablespoon and a half. And I leave it in pretty good sized chunks. So each jar has 1/3 to a 1/2 cup of lemon juice, and like I said, I thought I had more lemon juice, but I didn't. So just put the lemon juice and the garlic down in there, and then the onion, add to it, and then when you pack the okra in, if you've made dill pickles, you know you kind of have to pack them in real tight. And for the pickled okra, the larger pieces actually do better. They taste really, really nice. But if you've never had okra raw, whenever I go to pick okra, I pick several that are about that size, just, you know, maybe pinky size for me. They're delicious raw. If you've never had it raw, you gotta try it. The smaller pieces are better for that, but you can still eat these too. I prefer the smaller pieces. So I just start packing it in. I just kind of line them up and pack them in full, and you want to squeeze it just as tight as you can in there. Get them in nice and snug. I've got them all washed up and ready to go. The neighbor who's letting me pick this, I call it the okra jungle. I've never seen okra plants so tall. The things must be 10 feet tall, and usually my husband helps me pick, but he's not here right now, so I had to go and pick today, and I just have to bend the plants over and cut the fruit sets on the top, so I have to reach it that way. I also add, you can see on these that I've got some seasonings in here. Besides the chopped garlic and chopped onion, I put about a teaspoon of dill weed, dried dill weed, or you can use fresh if you have it. I don't have any. So you got to really smush them down in there because you've got spaces down in here, and I don't want to waste any space. I want all the okra in here that I can get. So anyway, so about a teaspoon of dill, a heaping teaspoon, and I use the pink salt. I don't use canning salt. I don't think it's good for you. And the pink salt, the Himalayan, or even the Celtic, work fine. I've never had any problem. They do, you know, cause a little bit of cloudiness, but I don't care about that. So anyway, just pack in all the spaces. So a teaspoon of dill, a heaping teaspoon of pink or Celtic salt, depending on your salt palate. 1/3 to a 1/4 cup of lemon juice, and I'm using a little bit. I like a little bite to my pickled okra, so I put cayenne. I'm using in this recipe. I'm going to use the 90,000. Don't ever use less than 90,000. In fact, you should never buy anything less than 90,000 heat units. I've got some that's 160 heat unit, 160,000 heat units, but it's packed somewhere in the sea of boxes. So anyway, yeah, just really pack them in there. And the cayenne, I really don't know how much I put in there. I know it's probably less than, more than a pinch and less than an eighth teaspoon, so it's just kind of according to your heat palette how much you put in there. The little bitty pieces, they work real well when you get to the top here and you can't get any more of the big ones in. You can smush in a few more of those little niblets, I call them. I really wish that I had more lemon juice because I got plenty of okra here to do a full canner, but I don't want to take time to go all the way to town with just like 30 minutes one way. So, get it all smushed in there good. I got my lids warmed here, and this is what we call cold pack. And most of the time whenever you preserve vegetables like this, you're going to use a pressure canner. But because the lemon juice is acidic, it will do fine in the water bath canner. And if you over process these, they're going to turn out limp and mush and not have any crispiness to them, and you probably won't like them, especially if you already have issue with the slimy nature of okra. Okay, that's pretty smushed in there. I think I can get one more in that spot. And so, anyway, I've got my lids warm, and I do have the water bath kettle. I already have some water in there, and I have it on low just so that it could begin to get warm. I don't put the jars in there, obviously, with the water hot, or they would crack. But I do warm it. So see, about that's probably a teaspoon and a half. It's just really rounded up. And the Himalayan is a wet salt because of the magnesium in it. By the way, I cut my finger picking okra, and the cayenne, it will stop the bleeding on that. Okay, here goes with the cayenne. You see how much I've got in there? Not much, and I probably won't put all of that in there. I don't know. Just kind of eyeball it. Okay, now let me get my water. I've got the lemon juice and everything is in here now. I just fill up the rest with this water. Leave a little head space at the top, and just start putting on my lids. That one's sticking up. I'm going to have to smush him a little bit. He'll be alright. Just give him a little twist. Oh, by the way, I don't like these skinny canning jars. You can't pack as many in there. But I have to use what I can dig out of storage. So. Alright. One more. Alright, let's load up the canner and we'll turn this on to process. Now, with the water bath canner, you want the water. I don't think you can see this. Let me bring the camera over. You can see how the water is not up to the top of the jars there. So I'm just going to fill it up so that it's right up, to the top, and maybe even cover just a little bit. And I'm going to bring this to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, I start timing 20 minutes. And once that 20 minutes is done, I'll remove the jars from the canner. And I'll show you that whenever we get through to that part. 20 minutes and counting. Okay, time's up. Always remember when you open these to open it away from you, because the steam will get you. And my handy dandy grabber. Bring these out and set them here. I haven't had any problem with any of these sealing, and they do just fine. I have to give the shout out to my friend Suzanne, who shared with me this method. I always made the brine and did this hot pack instead of cold pack. And doing it cold pack and just putting it in the individual jars really saves a lot of time. The recipe is mine, but the idea to do it cold pack and just put everything right in the jar was hers, so I really appreciate that. I'll just let this cool down a little bit, and we'll let these seal. And if you don't know, they'll make a little popping noise when they seal. But you can see they're boiling in there, and see what they taste like. So that's it. That's pickled okra. Before I quit, I did want to mention that if you have a problem with the slime in okra, this is one way that helps, because it's not slimy like this. So it's a good way to try. I can't wait for my husband to try it. I don't think he's ever had pickled okra before. See you in the next video.